for story number 5. We're going to go to Sean McCaughan. Sean, this story is coming out of NBC6 Miami. It's the NBC affiliate down here in South Florida. I'm going to read you the headline. I'm going to read you the first couple graphs, and I want you to comment. It's a perfect transition from what we just talked about, how the insurance prices that the state is dealing with, a lot of it's being paid for by individuals who basically have their condos who are coming down here for tourism, but ultimately they end up buying real estate. So here we go. Headline, first couple graphs. Miami is the second highest vacancy rate in the nation, but you still won't find a place to live. Subhead. A new study shows Miami has a lot of empty homes, but not necessarily all are available. First couple graphs. Here we go. Miami is the metropolitan area with the second highest vacancy rate in the nation, according to a new study by online lending marketplace LendingTree. Miami recorded a 12.675% vacancy rate out of 2.6 million homes, only behind New Orleans at 13.88%. The national average for the 50 largest metro areas included in the study was 7.22%. LendingTree used the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau American Community Survey to make the list and analyze the reasons why in the area's vacancy rate can be important in understanding the health and character of its real estate market. And here is a quote that came from a senior economist who wrote the report. His name is Jacob Channel. He says, so there are a lot of reasons why Miami has a high vacancy rate, but a really big one stems from the fact that it's a really popular place for second homes. Sean, why don't you give us some comments? You're born and raised in Miami. You've been around a long time. You've probably seen an evolution of Miami, the tourism, how it was, how it used to be, how it is now. So what's that you?
I mean, I would, I guess, agree with all that. I don't have too much to add. As a resident, I mean, so many of the people that I know and so many people that I grew up with also grew up here and also live here now. I guess in some ways I'm kind of segregated like that, which, it's sort of a horrible thing to think. But I don't know a ton of seasonal. I mean, I definitely know seasonal people, of course, and so I would just say it makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be able to speak to whether it's increased or decreased. I mean, Florida's always been South Florida, all of Florida, I guess, has always been very seasonal. Although the season, grows a little bit each year. Now, I would say the season is probably 2/3 of the year. Whereas, when Miami was founded, the season was from like New Year's Day to like a month and a half late. Washington's birthday, which was the old name for President's Day.
Yes.
When Palm Beach was in its early heyday, that they had a big Washington's birthday ball, then everybody left. So much so that the hotels all closed for the rest of the year. The other 9, 10, 11 months, and then everybody came back. And it evolved from people staying in a hotel for a couple weeks or maybe the season to renting a place for the season. There are a lot of the studio infill old studio in South Beach, a lot, and the cool old Art Deco buildings were sort of designed like very sort of fancy studio apartments / mini hotel rooms with little fireplaces and hardwood floors, and and then eventually people would buy a place, and a lot, and stay longer and longer. And I mean, a lot of the a lot of the big old, 1950s condos with big rambling apartments, a lot of those buildings were designed a lot like the resort hotel that they would supplant. Like you've got the Fontainebleau and the Eden Rock, and then you've got a bunch of condo towers directly to the north of them on, what do we call that? Condo Canyon.
Yes.
Those are a lot like the Fontainebleau and Eden Rock. They have a lot of the same amenities. They look very much the same. And I mean, okay, yeah, you'd think all these empty, condos that people have as second homes. And Miami has always been very popular as a second home place, of course. You'd think, okay, well, a lot of these could be rented out for the slow season or whatever. And I'm sure they can, but Airbnb requires managing, and renting something out like for a half a year or whatever that requires managing to a certain extent as well. And for a lot, and every millionaire in the world wants a condo in Miami. Sort of like one of the standard trappings of wealth these days. Whether you, not that I would know, but so I've read. So I think it makes sense that a lot of these places sit empty.
And Sean, well, let me throw out to you, during the pandemic, state of Florida took a very open approach to masks. So a lot of states had lockdown. You basically could go anywhere. You had to wear masks everywhere you went. Blah, 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 blah. State of Florida said, come on down. We'll deal with it, if you will. And we got a lot of people who decided to move to Florida and ultimately ended up jacking up the prices of rent, of real estate, a variety of different things. Now there's some movement.
Yeah,
there's
some
talk
people
about
leave
some of these individuals
afterward. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these people are moving
Yeah.
back. I just wonder, do you see anything? Have you heard anything from the people about what kind of, is it shaking out? Is there going to be any kind of pullback, this strong demand for real estate? Has anybody ever said anything to you?
I don't know.
Interesting. Mr. Fakler, looking at this story, there's a quote that comes from the same economist that says, so if you look at the total number of vacant units in Miami, more than half of them sit empty because they're only used part of the year. Mr. Fakler, what about you? You got to South Florida in the 1980s. How have you seen it change in terms of those would-be snowbirds who came down here, like Sean said, maybe not January, but they came down for Thanksgiving in November, and then they left in and around April or so. Has it changed much for you, Mr. Fakler? And maybe you can relate it to traffic. How much traffic is there now year-round versus what it used to be?
There's always been a traffic issue, but I think the issue now is we're seeing more traffic just because of the high volume of units coming online, both rental and condo units. So I think that's going to be an issue going forward, is how to deal with that increasing traffic. There's actually been a study about businesses losing money because trucks are stuck on the road because they can't get anywhere in the time they're supposed to get. So it's not just, commuters that are suffering, it's businesses that are suffering as well. So, yeah.
All right. So follow up to that, Mr. Fakler or Sean or Jean. These people come here and they buy a place. Now in Florida, if you declare a homestead, if you're a primary resident, you get to declare a homestead and therefore you get some tax advantages. If you do not declare a homestead and you have a home, it's a second property, the real estate taxes will basically float with valuations. So if you live in Florida and you're a resident and you so-called homestead it, you're locked in as to how much your property taxes go up. If you're not homesteaded, you're not a resident, it floats based on valuations. So I guess my question to the roundtable is, are out-of-towners who leave these units vacant half a year or whatever it is, are they actually subsidizing the cost of locals? Because if you're an out-of-towner, you got a second home, you're paying a higher property tax in theory because you're not homesteaded. You're probably not putting kids in school. You're probably not on the roads as often. So are we almost getting subsidized as primary residents by those people who are here half the time?
I don't know, but it's a nice thought.
John?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we are, and that's good. I'm happy about that. If I'm a homeowner, I'm happy about that because I get the homestead exemption, and then I get the cap on property tax increases every year, which under Save Our Homes, it was called Save Our Homes when it passed. In fact, the Lee County property appraiser was the spearhead of that. Lee County, of course, is Fort Myers. Ken Wilkinson is the Lee County property appraiser. He spearheaded the Save Our Homes amendment that limits property tax increases for homeowners. And it's a good thing. The problem is though that you don't want to kill the goose that laid the golden egg. So taxes are on those folks that are not homesteaded really going up fast, and they might be they might get a bad taste in their mouths, and Florida might start getting a bad reputation for the property taxes that are imposed on them.